What's up everybody, Tiffany Outdoors here today. We're gonna make a trivet. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
Follow U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo.
So I saw a video the other day of a guy making a trivet. I can't remember his name. I have to put his name in the description down below. So I decided to take his idea and make it my own. So I spent quite a few days, just a few hours here and there, just perfecting it and trying to copy it, because I didn't have any measurements. So I went out, bought some tiles, and started cutting. And I've learned a lot along the way on bevel cutting, miter cuts, and all of that stuff. So I'll be giving you guys the measurements. He wants you to buy his book. Now, he did a really good video, but all of the measurements and instructions are in his book. And so I'm going to give you guys the measurements because it was a learning curve, I'll tell you what. And one thing that I learned about the tiles that are sold as 6x6, they're not actually 6 inches at all. So let me turn your attention over here to the tiles, and I'll show you that the tiles are different sizes too. Got that tile there, and I got a plain one, and I got a couple others. I got another one that's shaped like a hexagon, so I'm gonna have fun trying to figure that one out. But this tile here is different size than this tile here. Let me flip this over, see if you guys can see. Look at that. I have them both lined up at the bottom, and look at that. That gap. Now, it may not be a big deal when you're building this trivet, but I want my tile to fit in there as close as possible. And that right there, that big gap, it just leaves too much wiggle when you put this together. So there's two different sizes. One is 5 13/16, and the other one is 5 14/16. Go figure, they're not even 6 inches. But anyway, I've got my saw set up. I got my table saw set up there, miter saw set up there. Let's do some cutting. Alright, for my border, I'm going to be using this piece of oak. Now, when you buy these from Home Depot or Lowe's, make sure they're all the same size if you're doing multiples of these, because when I went and got these have different widths and different thicknesses. Each one is different, but they're all the same price that was in that section. So, and try and pick the straightest one you can find, because some of these boards, I got one that's curved. I didn't even realize it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set up my miter saw for a 45-degree bevel. I'm going to cut one end off to get my beveling started, and then I'm going to use my template, my 5 13/16 template, to measure for the next cut. To set up my stop block, I have a piece of wood and a clamp here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the saw blade, press it all the way down, take my template, put it up against the saw blade, raise the saw blade up gently, and then I'm taking my template and piece of wood. I'm going to clamp it right there. It's too long. My camera's in the way now. Let me get a shorter piece of wood. Alright, got that. Now I'm going to take my piece of wood, butt it up on the other end, and then clamp. Now I need to double check the fit, make sure it's in there good, and yes, we're good to go. All right, now got a stop block, and each one will be the same. Now as you're cutting these, you want to make sure that you pay close attention to your bevel. You want one cut to go this way and the next cut to come down this way. So each time I do this, I'm going to have to flip it over. So light sanding. Don't have to do a whole lot of sanding on these. And that's the shape that you want each one to be. So now this is like this. Now I have to flip it over like that. The next step is to cut this groove here. This groove right here is where our piece of wood is going to sit, and then the tile is going to sit on top of that. So I need to cut a groove in each one of those. So I'm going to use my template to set up the how far away the fence needs to be from the top and the depth that the saw blade needs to cut. In order to do this, I have to remove the blade guard. And put my fence on the opposite side. And I'll be using these two safety devices per stick to push it through the blade. This stick is going to push it, keep it up against the fence. This one's going to push it forward. Boom, got my groove cut in all 4 pieces. Now I'm going to cut the piece of wood that's going to slide in these slots. My next step is to cut this, which is the supporting piece for the tile, except I am using wood. This is just my template. And I'm going to measure how far away from the blade my fence needs to be. I'm going to butt this piece right up against the blade. Lock down my fence and all this. Put my blade guard back on. Cut my board. Do a light sanding. This wood is quite splintery, I find. Don't want to get too aggressive with the sanding. Alright. Now I did have to go back through and widen my groove just a little bit so I can fit that piece of wood in there. And you'll see how this fits. Slides right in that groove, just like that. All right, let's get this thing assembled. I do like that it's a little snug. I do like that. Give me a tighter joint. Alright, y'all, I got it loosely assembled here, and test fit. Oh, yes! Yes, oh my goodness! Y'all! Y'all! Oh my goodness, I love it. Now, my miters are not perfect, but it doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. Look at that. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with that. Alright, now all I need to do is glue these together, and I'm gonna clamp it and let this set up for a little bit, and then we'll come back. Alright, the last thing I need to do is drill a hole. Oh, Bailey. Drill a hole in the middle of this so you can get pop the tile out. So I'm just going to take my framing square and go from one edge to the other. Alright, and I'm going to take the center punch and maybe not on top of that tile. Alright, I got a piece of backer board here. That way this doesn't blow out on the other side. That backer board will save that piece from being blown out. Alright, now. It's not centered yet. Hold on, y'all. Got off a little bit. Table up. Line him up. There we go. There we go. Up. Oh, I keep moving it. I would leave it alone. It'll be all right. There we go. Look at that perfect hole. It's not blown out. Look at that. Perfect. Now all I gotta do is take a little bit of sandpaper and go through this hole just a little bit like this. Any burrs or anything, get it perfectly smooth. That's good, that's good. And then take my eraser and get rid of those pencil marks. Got my corner clamp here. I'm gonna just glue this up and clamp it and let it sit overnight. And then we're gonna come back tomorrow and take the clamp off. Y'all, this is gonna make a nice gift for someone. Alright, got it clamped up, and I'm just gonna take some water and on a paper towel and wipe all the glue squeeze out. I'm not gonna stain this wood, I'm just gonna finish it with some kind of a finish. Not sure what yet. I can't get down in there. But got this clamped up as probably about as firm as I can get it without it being overly tight. Wipe off the bottom, the glue. Squeeze out on the bottom. Alright, and we'll let that set. Now before I do anything, I want to test and make sure that tile still fits in there. Yes, it fits. Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to let that dry. Maybe I'll let it dry for about an hour or two, and then we're going to come back and take a look at it and make sure this thing functions as I intend it to. All right, y'all, it's the next day. Time to get this thing out of the clamp. Oh my goodness, this looks so good. That right there is not quite centered, but it's close enough. Oh, okay, y'all, you know, I'm picking it apart. These miter joints look really good. They could be a little tiny bit better. Oh, that one looks good. That one looks good. So, you know, one joint, just a little gap, a tiny gap, not a big deal. Oh, y'all, this looks amazing. All right, now I need to check and make sure that the tile still fits in here. Let me go grab that tile. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Yes! Y'all, it fits in there perfect. So that hole, you just take your finger, poke it up through there. That way you can take this out and wash it if need be. Oh my goodness, y'all. Y'all. Oh, I'm so happy with this. Oh my goodness. Oh, this looks so good. Okay, the last thing this needs is a light sanding. Pull out my little sanding block. Let's see. Check for any glue or anything that's in the way. I'm going to do a light sanding on these corners. A little bit of glue on there. Just sand that off. You don't have to go crazy with it. This looks so good. This looks amazing. All right, I think the last thing I want to do with this is put a coat of wipe-on poly. You can do this if you like. I mean, it doesn't have to. I don't know. It looks good just like this. What do you guys think? Maybe I should build another one and do one with poly, one without. But oh my goodness, I'm loving this. This looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm so happy with it. Okay, I'm going to hold off on putting any kind of finish on it for now. Oh, this looks amazing. Now, if you want to put finish on this, you can to protect the wood. And I probably will, but I think I want to leave it off for now. And I want to show it to a few people and see what they think about it. We'll see.